Good evening, friends. Today we are going to touch the very important subject, and that is distribution handling. And with me, there is an expert panel of two people. And unfortunately, one people could not join us. So the one person, Mr. Rajarshi Das Gupta, we have a detailed interview with him. So the link I'll put in it. You can find it there. The second expert panel is Mr. VC Tiwari. We had a second interview of professional talk episode 2 with him, so that link I'll keep in the description, so you can get the detailed information about his experience of pharmaceutical sales from that video. Today, the topic is, as per the thumbnail, distribution handling. So I'll be asking the experts regarding distribution and then primary, secondary, and tertiary sales, and different kind of questions related to how we can be expert in handling the distributions. So I just welcome the experts. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ankit. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Uh,
Yes, good evening, Ankit. Good evening.
So, as you have seen the thumbnail, the topic for the day is distribution handling. And I'll not take too much time because we are already delayed by 10 minutes. So, the very first question to you, Mr. Dasgupta, that what are the different kind of sales and how company actually assess these three kind of sales, what we know.
Okay. See, the first level of sales is the primary sales, which is the sale which takes place from the company to the stockist or distributor. So, this sale determines how much payment, how much collections will come to the company. So, this is, I think, the most important type of sale which happens. And this primary sale can be from from the company to the distributor, or can be from the CNF, the CA to the distributor, not CNF, or the company warehouse, wherever it is, to the distributor. So that's the first level of sales. So next level of sales is from the distributor to the chemists or the pharmacies, retailers. So that is the secondary sales. So this is also very important because unless there is secondary sales, uh, primary sales cannot happen, because the distributor will give orders based on the secondary sales. And then is again very important is the tertiary sales, because when the patient buys from the chemist or the pharmacy based on the doctor's prescription generation, that is again that determines that how much secondary sales takes place. अगर अगर पर्चा नहीं है, अगर डॉक्टर से प्रिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं है, पेशेंट खरीद नहीं रहे हैं, टर्शियरी सेल नहीं हो रहा है, तो सेकेंडरी सेल कहाँ से होगा? क्योंकि अगर रिटेलर के पास नीड है तभी वो सेकेंडरी सेल करेगा, खरीदेगा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से. तो इसीलिए तीनों लेवल ऑफ सेल्स बेसिकली हैज टू बी लिंक्ड टुगेदर. The primary sales, which depends on secondary sales, the secondary sales that depends on the tertiary sales. So the medical rep has to keep his focus on the tertiary sales in order to get a good secondary sales. And if there is good secondary sales, the primary sales will happen. The distributor wouldn't like to go out of stock because he earns from it. So the first two level of sales, the MR has to keep, the flow. और बाकी जो है हम इसका इंट्रिकेसीज जो है बाद में शायद आप डिस्कस करेंगे. तो आई थिंक दैट्स अबाउट इट. द थ्री लेवल ऑफ सेल्स आई हैव टोल्ड यू, एंड दैट्स इट.
Sir, Mr. Tiwari, the second question, what is, I feel like is very important, and every salesperson keeps that in mind, that the most important integral in between company and the market is distributor. So, how do you see that this topic itself, distribution handling for a salesperson?
Yes, Ankit, this is very critical topic and important topic, because if you look at the pharma sales, the company sales, which uh, Mr. Das Gupta already shared with us from warehouse or depot to the stockist. Okay, that is the primary sale, and in that, stockist plays a very vital role. And if you look at the from point of view, stockist point of view, and they are the directly what you can say the profit generator of the company. So I think today's topic is important topic, and we'll come to know over the period of time in the discussion how we can manage the stockage successfully. If there is secondary, if there is tertiary, which is already shared by our panelist, Mr. Das Gupta, then definitely that stockist is going to buy product from the company depot or warehouse or C&F. So I think in the pharma sales, it is as important as the doctors. If we are able to manage the doctors successfully, getting prescriptions, investing on them, and managing them successfully, and if a salesperson unable to manage the stockist, then everything is meaningless. So I think this is the very important topic today we are going to discuss, or we are discussing right now.
Uh, to Mr. Dasgupta, primary cell you detailed in a very calculative way, and you just discuss कि इसका क्या वैल्यू है ओवरऑल मार्केट में और एक लड़के को लेकर और एक कंपनी को लेकर। मैं आपसे ये समझना चाहता हूँ कि एक नई कंपनी में जो कि अभी-अभी इंट्रोड्यूस हुई है, मार्केट में स्ट्रगल कर रही है एंड ही इज़ असाइनिंग अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर। फॉर देम हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज़ प्राइमरी सेल एंड व्हाट इज़ द थिंग्स एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव को माइंड में रखना चाहिए व्हेन फ्रॉम अ लॉन्चिंग कंपनी ही इज़ इंटरैक्टिंग टू अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर टू अ न्यू प्लेस?
Very, very interesting question. You see, for a launching company, the task is extremely challenging because the company is unknown. There is no confidence of the distributor on the company. There is no demand in the market. Now, the distributor is expected to stock up products without even knowing much about the future demand. So it depends a lot on the company's manager and medical rep as to how he's convincing the distributor about the future potential of the company, based on which he accepts the distributor. I mean, he accepts distributorship of the company. Because nowadays, if you go to a distributor and say, I am a new company, he'll first thing tell you that मेरे पास already 50 line है, अब मुझे और नहीं चाहिए, because अभी माल रखने का जगह नहीं है मेरे पास. So it needs a lot of persuasion to ensure that a good stockist, because the stockist has to be good, otherwise your catering and all these things will not take place as per your expectations. So any good stockist has to be persuaded, and that's where your salesmanship comes in. Because once you get a good stockist, I think half the battle is won. So once the stocking up is done, based on whatever survey you have done in the market, whatever the company expects you to sell, the product mix, the first couple of months is very testing time for the medical rep, because the distributor normally expects कि आप माल available करवाओ in the leading chemists. So the MR has to take responsibility, which normally doesn't happen in a established company. So he has to. This also happens not only for a new company, also for a new division of a company. So he has to take responsibility to keep the products on the chemist shelf on whatever agreement they have come to, maybe on a consignment basis, where pay when able after liquidation of stocks or whatever. So it is a judgment of the MR to ensure that some leading chemists are stocked up, so that the doctor does not complain of non-availability. And the fewer, the better, provided the chemists are well known. because it is very difficult to monitor the sales if you keep it in too many counters. So the leading counter should be made available. You have to take a receipt from them, keep it with you, and in the end, the distributor would also expect you in the first 1 or 2 months or the first cycle of the business to collect the payment also and give it to the distributor. In this area, the first line manager has to be very careful because very often you may get in, uh, you know, get a medical rep who doesn't stick on with you. He doesn't suddenly leaves for a better company or whatever. So these things have to be fully in control of the manager involved, of the team. So the first 2 3 months are extremely challenging, but once the flow begins and the distributor knows कि ये धीरे धीरे आता है फार्मा में जो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन प्रोडक्ट्स है वो अचानक सेल होना शुरू नहीं होगा. The distributor also knows, but he knows exactly how much इनिशियल मूवमेंट होगा. अगर अच्छा काम कर रहा है, कंपनी का प्रमोशन अगर अच्छा है, स्ट्रैटेजी अगर अच्छा है, तो कितना सेल पहले मंथ में ये प्रोडक्ट लाइन में एक्सपेक्ट करना चाहिए. Because a distributor is smart, he has been handling such products. So that first month or second month or maybe the first quarter is extremely challenging for a MR or a area manager, area business manager who is launching a new company. And slowly the flow starts. The distributor gains confidence or he does not. It can be both ways, depending on how much productive the man is of the company. And then slowly the retailers also, the word spreads कि इसका पहचाना शुरू हुआ है. You have made retail available to say 50 retailers. Slowly you'll find there are 100 retailers keeping your product because they make a note of it. So that launching experience is an extremely important experience for any pharma salesperson.
वेल तिवारी सर, आपसे एक क्वेश्चन है कि सिंस हम लोग स्पेशलिटी डिवीजन में लंबे समय से रहे हैं और
Yes.
एक पेरीफेरी टाउन में मैं काम करने जा रहा हूँ,
Mm-hmm.
knowing this that already there are 2 3 parties,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
although house is established, but I'm in a launching division and the products are new. So how tough it is to make the products available with an established party in a launching division to a periphery market, and what are the expertise a salesperson would require to make it done?
Yes, Ankit. Suppose I quote one example. Suppose you are working headquarter in Patna, and if you are going to Lehria Sarai or Begusarai, okay, there is one stockist in the Lehria Sarai, one stockist in the Begusarai, and you have launched one new product in the Patna city or in the entire Bihar, and when you made it available in the Patna, that is okay because it's a specialty product. So stockist also knows the market. If I talk about the urology or nephrology, stockist also aware of that. There are many doctors, super specialists sitting in the Patna. But if you go out of the Patna, the smaller towns, their stock is a bit reluctant. Why I will keep this specialty product? There is no specialist, or there is some general surgeon or physician doing the practice of the specialist. So he is also aware of the market dynamics. There, the role of yours is to make him convince why we are going to launch this product and which doctor we are targeting in that particular city. Because in a smaller town like Darbhanga, uh, yeah, doctors they are really not accepting immediately the specialty product. You need to visit n number of times and you need to do some CME kind of the education to the doctors, then they are going to prescribe. So same thing has happened to the stockists also. If we are putting the order of the suppose 10 strips 20 strips for the specialty product or any specialty injectable, initially there is hiccups, there is low confidence of the stockist. But you at the same time you need to convince him why we are keeping this stock is because it is not only that Darbhanga from the major town like Patna, maybe prescription will come from that town also. So to cater the market holistically in the across the state, what which we are going to launch. So in that way, you need to give three, four pointers to the stockist to have the or to gain the confidence of the stockist. First is the indications and why we are going to launch, what is the market of this product, and which are the competitor companies, or it's a monopoly product sometimes, and what are the company strategy, how we are going to launch, and what is our plan going forward. And sitting at the stockist place, if we narrate all those pointers in front of the stockist, then that fellow is also having some confidence to take your products. So in the secondary town or in the smaller town, it is really difficult to manage the this stockist to make the product available. You need to spend time along with him, and you need to visit 2 3 times. It is not only first time you are visiting and he will keep the stockist. Maybe sometimes the demand will come and he may ask you कि यार वो कौन सा प्रोडक्ट था, बताओ, तुम बता के गए थे, अभी एक पर्चा आया था. Then slowly and gradually he will gain the confidence, and over the period of time, if you have the good rapport with the doctors, chemists, then definitely that is ready to keep your stock. Otherwise, in the specialty segment, it would be difficult. So it is the slowly and gradually process to follow the SOPs of the company, to norms of the company of launching the product in that particular town, and I think it will take time, but your product will be available. But it is not like a general product you go and say the it's antipyretic or it's a anti-infective or cough syrup, because these are the general product, the acute segment product. So stockists they can keep these kind of product. But if you look at the chronic segment, in that also particularly niche market like urology, it is really difficult initially. But if you are there on job and if you are following many times to the stockist, then certainly he will have confidence and he will keep your product. That is the only thing which we can make the product available at the smaller towns.
To Das Gupta, sir, I am in a company with a very good rapport and has a very big brand value. And I am given a target for a NPI. ये 1000 स्ट्रिप से ही लॉन्च करने का है. एंड आई एम गिवन द लिस्ट ऑफ द पार्टीज कि ऐसे ऐसे इसको बिल करना है.
Hmm.
सो व्हाट शुड बी द लाइन ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन फॉर अ एक्सपीरियंस सेल पर्सन who is given a list of the parties and then objective कि इतना से कम बिल करने का नहीं. So what should be the tips and tricks for that experienced fellow?
Okay, this is something which happens very often, that when new product. Now the thing is, let me break up the your abbreviation of NPI because the audience may not be comfortable. So it's we are talking of new product introduction, NPI. So in case of an NPI, the the company management, top management knows that in the very first phase of launch, that availability has to be in this manner. So they have some idea of the quantity that has to be sold per MR or per distributor. So accordingly, the medical rep, the area manager, they have to plan out as to if they are getting 1,000 strips of a new product, how they are going to distribute it. Like some part of it definitely should remain with the stockist for reorder when reorders come from the chemist, and some part of it should be liquid, it should be made available. So this ratio again depends on the judgment of the experienced MR and his area business manager. But I always felt that there's no point in keeping too much and too less with the stockist. You make sure that one prescription is served, one maximum two, and then 50% of the stocks you make it available with the chemists who are already keeping your products, because the MR knows that my company's products my company, you have, as you mentioned, is a brand, is a big company, established company. So the top uh, retailers who are selling your products are these. So you have to take advantage of that. That whoever are your top retailers, you make it available there, at least one or two prescriptions to start with, but make sure that 50%, according to me, 50% of the goods supplied by the company should remain at the stockist level, because you don't know, because in the next 1 week there can be a flow of prescriptions. If you're lucky, there'll be a good flow of prescriptions, and immediately the retailer will reorder. So at that point of time, the stockist should not be unprepared. Yeah, I don't have stocks, because that will spoil the entire launch of the new product. So my judgment is 50-50 is a very fair ratio when it comes to availability at the retailer and the buffer stock at the stockist level for a NPI. And then wait for the good things to happen, the flow to begin, and a product is as successful as the man behind the product and the promotion. I always felt in pharmaceutical marketing, the two P's are important: the people and promotion. These two will determine how successful the brand is.
तिवारी सर, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे न्यू प्रोडक्ट के लॉन्च को लेके?
Yes,
Sorry?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I want to add here. Already, Rajesh sir has shared very nicely. In that, if you look at any company, NI success will depends on the people, which already shared with our panelists. The people with the passion lead to the performance in the new product launch, and your success will determine on your efforts, your company strategies to go followed, and moreover the discipline. If I say, if you are launching any product and company has decided some protocols to be followed in the visit 1, visit 2, visit 3, visit 4, so your discipline about your consistency of the visit, and moreover, using the inputs, promotional items, which already Sir has shared, will determine the success of your new product launch in the market. Sometimes, what company or people they commit the mistake, they launch product in one visit, and they have the gap of the 20 days, 30 days or so. If there is proper spacing between two calls, then definitely there will be success of the new product. And in the new product, the chemist availability, which is as important as launching the product to the doctors. If your product is not available at the nearby chemist and you are launching the product, suppose there is prescription, so that doctor will lose the confidence if product is not available, or this patient is also get distracted. So product availability also play very crucial role in the launching of the product. So initially, what company do? All company they initially available the product to the that particular geography. Then they launch the product with listed customer, the targeted audience. So that is the good way or systematic way to launch the new product in the pharma company. The availability, then the product promotion to the targeted audience.
सर, ये ओपन क्वेश्चन है, आप दोनों में से कोई
Mhm.
भी इसको ले सकते हैं.
Mhm.
Breakage and expiry. It's a very important subject when you are trying to build the trust and relation with the party, and particularly the party who sells the most, having the breakage and expiry the most. So considering that, since I am working with the company and the company is feeding me, तो मुझे ये भी ध्यान में रखना है कि कंपनी का जो पार्ट है वो भी ज़्यादा लॉस मेकिंग ना हो.
Correct.
So what should be the stand of a salesperson while dealing with breakage and expiry for their leading parties? in the leading
Can
market.
I handle that question? Can I handle that question first?
Please,
Yes,
please.
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, sir.
yeah. See, breakage and expiry, it's a part of a pharmaceutical, the sales management. A certain percentage, maybe 2%, sometimes 3%, depends on the product mix. Uh, Breakage expiry hota hi hai. I mean, you cannot avoid. There's not a single company which has no breakage expiry. So here, uh, the honesty of the or the integrity of the field staff is extremely important, because
True.
very often these are breakages and expiries. They become a tool in the hands of the sales force to motivate the distributor, if I'm allowed to say that. So wrong things happen. But at the same time, if there is a genuine breakage or expiry, it has to be honestly settled, and sooner the better, because that's a service which you are rendering to the stockist by your presence in that territory. And if there is a huge breakage, that doesn't matter, because if there is a huge breakage, it is not going to happen in just one place. It could be a faulty packaging. It can happen across the country. And then the company management has to decide that whether they should continue with that packaging or make improvements in the primary packaging or the carton, or something has to be done, because इसको छुपा के तो कुछ फायदा नहीं है कि इतना ब्रेकेज हो गया, अक्सर क्या करे, मैनेजमेंट तो गुस्सा हो जाएगा if I start the claiming this. Nothing wrong in it. It's a pointer to management that you make improvements in your whole thing. Expiry, of course, the company doesn't want, because
Charger
if
कहाँ
it
है
is
charger?
expired,
ऊपर से पास में
if it is expired, you are guilty.
रख दे यहाँ।
You have been caught sleeping. So there are many ways of keeping a tab. If you are visiting the distributor regularly, if you are service oriented, you will definitely ask him, because there are rules by the Chemist and Druggist Association when the expiry products have to be notified. So in that case, one has to ensure that they're liquidated before that time, or take the permission of the managers, the area manager, regional manager, and ensure some strategy to liquidate those stocks. क्योंकि देखो, कोई भी अगर प्रोडक्ट माल वापस जाता है स्टॉक कंपनी के पास, दिस इज अ लॉस फॉर द कंपनी. So better is you liquidate it with a good discount or some sort of a scheme, so that it doesn't return to the company. So this is something which has to be managed at the level of the first time and the medical level. Uh, Expiry is not good. Breakages you can't help, and expiry and breakages should not be manipulated. These are the things which, in my opinion, are important.
एंड सर, अगर हम देखेंगे कि पर्टिकुलरली पावर ब्रांड्स के एक्सपायरीज जो होते हैं, तो दैट कम्स वेरी फ्रीक्वेंटली एंड विच इज़ नो वेयर रिलेवेंट टू द सेल्स टारगेट ऑफ द सेल्स पर्सन. Like say for example, in case of German remedies, you see terifilin. So that used not be a important thing for a person to take orders and then monitor the sales. कंपनी बोलती थी ये तो अपने बिकता है, इस पर दिमाग मत लगाओ. तो अगर पावर ब्रांड्स की एक्सपायरीज का क्वेश्चन बढ़ जाए, तो उस समय सेल्स पर्सन का स्ट्रेटेजी क्या होना चाहिए?
एक तो है जो मेजर ब्रांड्स है, आप जिसको पावर ब्रांड्स बोल रहे हो, फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द व्यूअर्स, that a company does not promote every product, every brand.
True, sir.
The company has a selected brands to be promoted, because अगर 50 ब्रांड है और 150 SKUs है, मतलब different dosage forms, so it is not possible to promote everything. You need a huge amount of money for that. So they select brands according to an exercise which they do, which is called product mix optimization. So based on various factors. So these products have to be sold, because investment is going on in terms of promotion, in terms of various things, doctors meetings. So expiry and things there is not actually acceptable. So in that case, uh, after the first uh, lot is liquidated, the future orders should be made carefully so that you have stocks, you don't run out of stocks, but at the same time you can achieve your targets. One should not sort of uh, have stocks which is probably double your actual sales. New products में होता है. New products में that ratio of stock holding to sales थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता है. But over a period of time that gets evened out. So new products में तो I think one should not have expiries at all. Promotional products, the focus brands, or what you call the power brands, इसमें तो expiry होना नहीं चाहिए. अगर होता है, so either there has been some problem with your ordering or liquidation, and it is best avoided. It should be avoided.
तिवारी सर, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे इसमें?
Yes, yes. In expiry and breakage, they are both the critical element of the pharma sales, and any salesperson who is responsible will definitely try to reduce the expiry and breakage, particularly expiries. Breakage, because it is the part of the distribution. Sometimes it may happen, transiting goods from one place to another, but certainly expiry one can minimize by increasing the demand, by increasing the prescriptions, because it depends on the nature of the product also. The shelf life of the product. Some product having shelf life of 2 years, some product having 3 years, some product having 1.5 years. So, looking into the shelf life of the product, that fellow or that salesperson need to create the demand, and visiting the stockist also will have the positive impact of reducing the expiries. If you visit the stockist regularly, then stockist also say to you, these are the product going to expire in the next 6 months. Do you have any liquidation plan? Or in the big company, they are also sending mail sensitizing the sales people to reduce the inventory, sorry, expiry of the that particular product. So in that way, it is the loss of company, and the general rule of the any company, it should be less than or at the max 2% expiry, and breakage is also in the same bracket. So I mean to say, if any vigilant sales fellow or medical rep or area manager, they have the close eye on the expiries, or they have the foolproof plan to liquidate the near expiry goods. In that way, they can reduce and they can manage expiry very nicely. And it is the important part of any salesperson KRA. If you have the less expiry, then you will have weightage in your performance appraisal also. It is not only the primary sales. If you do the primary sales but having the more expiry or more volume of the expiry, then you will have the less numbers. Billing the product, getting sold from the stockist then to the chemist, is the called real sales. Dumping the goods at the stockist and expired goods are huge in amount of the volume, then it is not the responsible sales. Any responsible salesperson do the sale which is controllable, manageable, and with the reduced risk of the expiry. That is from my end. Yeah.
To Tiwari sir, again I am coming. I am working with a company which has so many divisions, and one of the division did overbilling, and that tended my leading stock is to go in payment dispute and credit block. What should be the stand of a salesperson to favor that party to re-establish the sales channels better?
In this case particularly, if we are supporting to the party, that is not, I think, favor of the company, because companies already blocked that party due to non-payment of the goods, and the particular salesperson or medical rep, he has dumped the goods n number of times. Suppose secondary is 1 lakhs and he has dumped the products of 2 lakhs or more than 2 lakhs. So the party is not ready to give the payment. Because of that, company has blocked that party to give the more goods to the that particular party. In that way, we have or that sales fellow will have the plan to liquidate first the goods, to have the bare minimum inventory. If you look at the inventory operation in the different geography, if you look at Mumbai, they keep only 1.5 times inventory. They have already formula feeded in their system. Sale into 1.5 minus closing stock. That is the order formula. If you place more than that, then they have certain norms to keep the inventory. If they go beyond that, then the company is going to block that party, because the payment mode on the local town is only 15 days. If you look at upcountry town, it is sometimes 30 days and 45 days. So if there is problem of the inventory, the huge inventory, and that concerning medical rep or ABM is unable to liquidate the goods, again company will take the action. And in that way, if we are supporting that particular stockist, we need to first liquidate the goods. That is the only right practice to go ahead. Otherwise, that stockist also will have the negative image of yours, means concerning salesperson, because he has helped you to achieve your target beyond, going beyond his credit limit, going beyond his inventory stock. And that way, I think helping the stockist in the another beyond the inventory level, or getting the extra goods, or going beyond the his credit limit, is not the fair practice. First, we need to generate the secondary, tertiary, then we will have what you can say, the authority to ask the orders or to manage the stock at the stockist level. So in that
So
way, I
Dasgupta
think,
sir,
yes,
sir,
yes,
Uh,
yes, sir. What is your
Ankit,
point of
Ankit,
view?
Ankit,
Yes,
did
my
you
question.
mention about a multi-division company you were mentioning?
My
yes,
question probably Tiwari sir has missed. My question
yes.
was, sir, that if a other division colleague has overdumped the
Okay,
stock and he is a very
okay.
smooth party for me, and now my
Yes,
business is getting suffered just because of this, that some other company, other division people have overdumped him, and he got into payment dispute. In that case, what should be the stand
uh,
of a specialty division
Okay,
people
now
or
can
the
I take
other?
that question? Can I
yes,
take
sir.
that
Yes,
question?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think,
Yes.
I think the company management itself is in fault, because there should be a clear policy that uh, more than one division should not have the same distributor. I have
Okay,
worked in a company, or maybe a couple of companies, where we were not allowed to make a distributor who was already existing for some other division, because this problem happens very often. Because of stop dispatch or non-payment, the whole company will suffer. So rather, you have a distributor for your own division only. I think that's a better idea, because this
yes,
is something which the company distribution manager in the head office, they will say, no, it is my rule, I cannot supply. I can't help if your division is affected. And what will he do? This is for the top management to take care. Am
So
I right,
Dasgupta sir,
Tiwari ji?
yes, yes, yes. Even now these days, all the stockists, they behave differently with the different division of same company. Suppose I am going from the urology division, some other is going from the critical care division, and critical care division has dumped the stockist. He will not put blame on me. And company is also thinking of to segregate what Rajasi sir has already told, not to give all division to the all stockists. They have certain norms to give 2 3 division to the one stockist, not all for all. That is current practice. Earlier it was there. Company, they are giving all divisions to the all stockists, because on that time we have the limited number of the divisions. Now we have the multiple division in same company, n number of times of division. So company also behaving with the same manner. They are not giving all division to the all stockists. So if one
Actually, the
division is
policies differ from
com-
very large company to mid-sized company to small company. Because you
Yes,
see, what can happen in Cipla or Sun cannot
yes,
happen in a smaller company. Their policies again will be different. So the
different. Yes.
needs are different for every company.
And over the period of time, Ankit, stockist also knows that what kind of the sale we have, what kind of the nature, what kind of the what you can say demand we have in the market. So he treat differently. Even company is not going to block urology division or nephrology division if anybody is putting extra stock of the other division. So that is also another way to look at. They have certain value for the particular division. If any particular division going beyond that value, automatically that stock is get blocked from the company.
Toughest question I'm going to ask, sir.
No, I have another
Infiltration.
question for Mr. Tiwari. I have got another question. That is
Yes,
the
sir.
formula for inventory management, that 1.5 into sales minus stock in
Yes,
and stock in
minus.
transit. Is it
Yes.
is it the same for every CNF?
No, sir. No, sir. It is different with the different geography. If you talk the Mumbai is totally formula-driven market. If demand is there, prescriptions are there, secondary is there, then you can get the order.
Actually,
Similarly,
it all depends on the lead time. I mean, so in some
yes,
places the CNF is placed very far away from many
Correct.
markets. It
correct, correct,
happens
sir.
in northeast. You know,
Yes,
so
yes.
there maybe it is sales into two, secondary
Two,
sales
yeah,
into
yeah.
two.
Yes, yes, yes. So I already shared with you depot town, all depot town. In each state, company is having the depot. Depot town formula is different from depot town to some other town, far away town like 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer. There is formula is totally different.
Correct,
It
correct,
is two times or 2.5 times sometimes, depending on
Credit
the
correct.
policy.
transit time from depot to the stockist. How many
Credit
days will
policy
it take?
also varies, sir. Credit policy also
Yes,
varies.
yes. Local town credit policy 15 days, and other towns it is 30 days, and in new product it is 45 days. That is different with the different company and geography.
To Das Gupta, sir, the biggest challenge in sales is infiltration. Sometimes it is by your same stockist, sometimes it is by other stockists in the market. To a salesperson who is dealing with power brands, and most of the time infiltration is there. In both of the situations, जब स्टॉकिस्ट खुद कर रहा है इन्फिल्ट्रेशन या अदर पार्टीज इन्फिल्ट्रेशन कर रहा है, हाउ टू चेक इट आउट सर?
You
वेज एंड मीन्स
see,
टू चेक इट
post GST, I think, I mean, Mr. Tiwari can probably say better. Post GST, it has come down to a great extent. You know, this
Correct.
cross-border infiltration, but
Yes.
uh, they still happen because everybody wants a good deal. You know, if stockist A is giving so much free or discount from Meerut, then why should I buy from Delhi? You know, or vice versa. So it all depends on the ethics being followed in that in a particular territory, because it's very easy to give a freebie as we call it to ensure that I achieve my sales in another area where the operations are not very efficient, because that is the fault of that territory also. That whenever there is a sort of demand supply gap, it can flow in from a neighboring state.
Yes.
But again, post GST, I think it has come down, the incidence of cross-border infiltration. Earlier, it used to be, it was unmanageable, and the company also said we cannot help it. I mean, if it is happening, it is
Correct.
going from your area to other area also. So,
Correct.
so
नो
ऐसा
सर,
नहीं होता है कि आप भी
मोर और लेस इवन आफ्टर जीएसटी सर, फॉर दे आर कंपनीज जिसके लिए अभी भी आपको 18 डाउन 15 डाउन में माल मिल रहा है सर,
मिल रहा है ये।
अभी भी मिल रहा
नहीं,
है सर.
नहीं, अभी अंकित इस पे मतलब सर ने जो कहा कि जीएसटी के बाद ये ड्रास्टिकली डाउन हुआ है, बिकॉज जीएसटी इज यूनिफॉर्म टैक्स टू द ऑल स्टेट्स, इट इज नॉट डिफरिंग स्टेट टू स्टेट्स, बट द कंपनी is having the high volume in UP, suppose, so that particular company may offer some scheme depending on the volume. But if you look at Bihar or if you look at Madhya Pradesh, they are not offering that much of lucrative scheme to the stockists, I am saying. So maybe there is some part of the infiltration is there, but not up to that level earlier it was. So it is reduced drastically.
See, again, it
But
is a top management policy.
policy,
Sometimes
yes, yes,
a lot of decentralization, the power in the hands of ZSM
yes, yes,
to increase the free offers or discounts. So that happens, and in high volume areas, as you said, probably they are at an advantage. So these uneven sort of things happening across the border, it results in sort of the flow from one state to another state. It happens, but
even
it can be avoided. There are ways to
yes,
avoid
yes.
it. If the management wants, they can avoid it.
Even in big towns, metro town, we have with the corporate hospitals. Okay, so companies offering schemes or discount to the corporate hospital or big setups. So sometimes it is misused by the sales people to achieve their target. So
True.
companies offering to the big hospitals like Fortis, big hospitals like Kokilaben Hospital or Bombay Hospital or some chain of hospitals. So it is misused by the salespeople to achieve their target. So they may bill. There is no cap quantity. Earlier there was cap quantity. Now some people they are offering without cap quantity. There is no ceiling of the billing, so they bill on the larger volume. Suppose 100 strips should be billed in that particular hospital on certain discount, but they are billing 500 or 1000 strips, and they are exporting from one place to the another. That is also another way or another reason of the infiltration. The hospital
Today
See,
only,
discount,
this
which
sir.
is
this
yes,
this
Today
happens
only.
very much in super specialty. In super
yes,
specialty,
yes,
this is quite common
yes,
because
yes,
suddenly
yes,
the head of the division from the head office gets a call from the
yes.
ZSM or whoever that sir ये party इतना order दे रहा है. That order is a huge order,
Huge order,
humongous
yes,
order कि आप
yes,
but
yes.
उनको ये discount चाहिए. ठीक है. Now the thing is, if the head of the division wants quick business, he'll
Business
not
sales.
get because वो माल खरीद के कहीं और डालेगा. So
सही है.
so the thing is that if the head of the division feels that he's made a big business, it doesn't.
Hmm.
After some time, he'll realize कि ये तो बड़ा mistake हो गया.
So
So
it
these
is,
things one have to be very careful at the top. That one should not get lured by huge orders with huge discounts. So that actually results in infiltration.
yes, yes,
Today
yes,
only, sir. Today only,
yes.
one of my sales colleague told me कि अगर कैश बिल में लेंगे तो 15% डिस्काउंट बढ़ जाएगा.
मिलेगा. Yes, yes,
Today itself, today, and
yes, yes,
afternoon I had a talk for
yes.
certain product, and it was told to me that अगर कैश में लेंगे तो 15% डिस्काउंट बढ़ जाएगा.
Discount बढ़ जाएगा. Even Ankit, there are many kind of practices in the market to do the business, because sales is all about temptation. It tempts everybody, not medical rep only, area manager, regional manager, zonal manager, even national sales manager. If a deal comes, then everybody is tempted to crack that deal. So sometimes this leads to the infiltration, because they are offering to the certain geography or certain key accounts, we can say. But that key account sale or that goods can be moved one place to the another place because of the lesser rate or heavy discounts or attractive discounts. So that is the reason of inflation today. But it is really gone drastically. It is not like that earlier used to happen. Yes.
Sir, so we are in closing minutes. We have already touched 50 minutes. So, final comment, sir, for distribution handling. What are the final tips and tricks to the salespeople you would like to offer?
My first comment is that I have got a little objection to the topic because when you say distribution handling, ये word
Hmm.
handling थोड़ा negative connotation है.
Negative.
पर yes, but yes, I mean it is a term which is used in field parlance.
Yes.
Distribution handling अच्छा है इसका.
अच्छा नहीं,
But
बराबर.
whenever you say handling, the negative connotation is manipulating. Distribution handling is manipulating.
Manipulating. Yes,
Or
yes.
I mean, Rather, I would rather prefer to call it distribution relationship management. I mean, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
a
Yes,
more
that is
healthy
a
way
polished,
to.
yes, yes.
हाँ, हैंडलिंग तो बहुत लगता है कि प्राय ऑलमोस्ट मैन हैंडलिंग हो जाएगा, you know. So,
Correct, sir.
I think distribution plays an extremely important role in the overall business of the company, and the policies that govern distribution, that are crucial, because many companies can increase their efficiency many folds with a very sound distribution policy. Because as we are talking the last topic of infiltration, if there are sound policies, SOPs in place, then these small glitches, things which dissatisfy a company's field force, that can be avoided. So uh, I would also say that during a training program of a medical rep, distribution is given the least importance. In fact, whenever we do role play and all this, I think distributor level role play is extremely important,
And we
because
never do it, sir.
unless we don't do it. I mean, I started in a few companies, and when experienced people come and ask me some basic questions, then I realize how important training in distribution is, because every MR should be very sound about distribution management when they go to the field, whether a fresher or an experienced person. I think in the last meeting I had said, experienced people ask me, sir, how to achieve 100% target month after month. You know, I mean, this is something which should be handled at the time of, joining the profession. What are the secrets of doing 100% achievement every month? So I would say that distribution should not be neglected by any company as a function, even of people in sales. Although at the top level, distribution is a different department altogether, separated from sales and marketing. But the person in the field, he's doing everything: sales, marketing, distribution. Because when we talk of marketing, by theory, it is creating a demand. Our medical reps create a demand and fulfill the demand also. FMCG में ये नहीं होता है.
Mm.
FMCG
Yes,
में the demand is created by the advertisements,
Yeah.
the TV commercials, and
yes,
the
yes.
people in the field, they are only pushing to the retailer. But हमारा जो medical rep है, in the true sense, he is both doing sales and marketing.
Mark.
Demand भी create कर रहा है, ये भी कर रहा है, plus distribution. So it's an enormous challenge for a medical rep and line management to ensure the business of the company.
So, Tiwari sir, final comment, tips and tricks to handle distributor or same distribution management.
Yes, yes, yes. And this distribution management is, I already shared, is critical and crucial part of any pharma company. And how we can manage or how we can handle it is the simple. If we are able to increase the demand in the market, he is there to earn the money. Okay, so he will be happy. If we are generating more prescriptions, if we are generating incremental sales month after month, and we are visiting stockists and updating him time to time about the policies of the company. If there is any change of policy, maybe he is getting information through mails or through WhatsApp. But if we go personally and inform that particular stockist about the change of policy, he feel happy. So, in nutshell, the stockist management or distribution management is the touch points. If you keep in touch with that particular party, definitely he will help you. And the job of medical rep and job of salesperson to increase the demand in the market, then definitely he will respect you, and you will get lot of recognition there also. So, in nutshell, this is a very vital and critical and crucial part in the sales of pharma, the stockist management. So, this is all about stockist management. Yeah.
So, मैं इसको क्लोज करके वापस से आता हूँ सर.
Okay.
So, friends, these were the expert opinion regarding the distribution management. And I would say, in my words, that they are the people who work next to medical reps in the same market and develop the business. So, being in touch with them and do well with the distributors, and in turn your sales will be better in your respective territories. Thank you very much, and we will meet soon with the new panel on some certain different topics. Good night for now.